Somebody come get 'em, they're too old for TikTok. Hello, and welcome to Two Olds for TikTok. This is a very special episode because me and Catalina are in the same room. We are both in New York. We just completed my bachelorette trip in Curacao, and I think it was a resounding success. Everyone had a good time. I had a great time. Catalina, how was your time? You did a lot of the planning, so I appreciate that.
My time was lovely, and I found my new passion in life, which is snorkeling.
You sound weird when you're talking like this.
Sorry, I'm being critiqued because Dina is in the same room as me, and so she can find new things to yell at me about.
Well, she was talking with her hand on her like a voice box, and it was sounding weird.
Wow.
And since there's only one track since we're recording together, I just want to make sure we sound our best selves.
Wow, it's very rude of you, and that's very ableist when it comes to voice boxes.
Oh my god. Okay. What were your highlights of this weekend besides snorkeling? Snorkeling was great. That was the point of my bachelorette, was so you could snorkel.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I learned how to do a beach vacation somewhat correctly, so that was lovely. I liked learning about the cuisine of Curacao, even though we didn't try any of the local dishes.
Well, one of them was like iguana soup.
Iguana? Dina.
I was thinking of Iguazu Falls. Iguana soup. Yeah, I didn't see that.
There's a lot of stews.
We didn't have any
and
stews.
It wasn't really stew weather.
It was very hot. What about jet skiing? I thought you would...
I enjoyed to jet ski. Dina took me on a jet ski. She did try to whip me off the jet ski, which was really rude of her. But we saw a dolphin, which was very exciting. My life did flash before my eyes, but it was very enjoyable to like fly across the water. I've never done that before. What about you, Dina?
Catalina said, if I fall off, you owe me $500.
Yeah,
I said no. But we both didn't fall off, and it was very fun.
Because I said, I know you want me to fall off for the plot.
I didn't, because I didn't want to fall off either. No, it was great. I'm just so appreciative to have such good friends and make memories and have such a great time.
And we did record some sound bites.
We did. I'm going to edit in maybe some roses and thorns of our other people's.
I feel as though the sound quality of those roses and thorns was not great. I was looking at the way different people were holding your phone, and everyone had a different interpretation of how one should hold a phone when recording a voice note.
Okay, we'll put it on our non-existing Patreon for exclusive material.
Would you like to hear some poor quality recordings of people saying what they enjoyed on a trip to Curacao that you weren't on?
Really important question for you, Catalina.
Yes.
Are you holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity?
I'm holding so much space. I'm holding infinite space.
Infinite space. We saw Wicked this morning, which was... I loved it. It was incredible. For an 11 a.m. showing, it was pretty full, so much so that...
I wouldn't call that theater full.
I thought we were going to be the only ones. So there was at least like 25 people.
Yes, there were several individuals. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was getting near my voice box again.
People next to us were rudely chatting throughout the whole beginning of the film, and I was
they were late, first of all.
They were late.
They crawled over us.
I was quietly shushing them, and then finally...
You were not quietly shushing them.
I was shushing.
Well, you were shushing too quietly because I couldn't even hear you, and I was next to you.
Okay, well then, thank God.
You shushed at one point, and I turned my entire body and said, could you please be quiet?
And then they did.
The girl, because you shushed, she looked over and I looked her dead in the eyes and I went, could you please be quiet?
And then she was
quiet.
That was great. I realized also, I forgot the plot is also that they were roommates, and there's a song about loathing. So it reminded me of you, Catalina.
You loathed me?
No, it didn't. But we were roomies and we didn't always see eye to eye.
Well, so I went into the film kind of knowing the plot of Wicked because like it's existed in the cultural zeitgeist for years and years and years now, but not having actually seen it on Broadway or off Broadway. And for that reason, not knowing any of the actual plot points besides some of the music. And so some of it was quite a surprise. I did see a TikTok recently about how Wicked is about fascism, which I was like, yeah, that's like very evident. It's about like living under a fascist state. Like that's very clear from the get. And also like The Wizard of Oz is about pulling away the veneer, like facades. So that wasn't particularly surprising. But the animal subplot was really unexpected for me. I guess I don't want to spoil it for anyone else like me because it was very funny to go in and be like, wait.
Silencing the animals.
Oh, I actually had a follow-up question. How are the animals played on Broadway? Is it like Cats? Like, do they look like they do when they're in Cats and they're dressed as cats? Are they in like animal suits?
It's not as like Uncanny Valley. I think they're just in like animal suits, but not to the extent of Cats. Like the goat looks like a goat, but sounds like a goat, but I don't really, you'll have to see it on Broadway.
I'm going to have to look up some images because that was something that I was wondering, like, are they wearing like a bear suit and just like, you know?
Yeah, they look like animals. The monkeys look like monkeys. The goats look like goats, but they're in costume.
Do they look like animals? Yes, Dina, I know. Do they look like animals in The Lion King?
Oh my God, though that puppetry in The Lion King is like some of the world's best puppetry that ever came out.
Most best.
So that's why when The Lion King came out, like you couldn't get tickets for years. I remember my grandma went to the box office and bought tickets for like 2 years later because it was just such innovation in Broadway.
Well, I haven't seen that much Broadway. You know what I did see though? The Broadway High Fidelity preview that we went together
for free
that then never made it to Broadway.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I mean,
I had fun.
Never made it. The last thing I'll say about our experience was that the movie starts, this is not a spoiler, it says Wicked Part 1.
Okay, I would like to add some texture to this story, which is most of what I know about Wicked came from the time that I took a Peloton ride that was Wicked themed, and they were playing obviously the Wicked songs. And so from that ride, I found out that Defying Gravity was right before intermission, but I didn't really remember that. And I did see the part 1 and I was like, oh, when is part 2 happening in this film? Like, is there going to be a film intermission? Like, and then when they were going and they were singing like the Going to the Wonderful Emerald City, yeah. I was like, is this going to be the intermission? And the movie just kept going and I was like, this is so long.
And then Catalina whipped out her second half of the bagel right before Defying Gravity. And if she was not done before the song came out, I would have made her put it away, but she finished it. And then
someone peed during it.
The movie ends, after, when it's intermission, and Catalina was very confused, but...
Well, no, I figured out it was very evidently like a climactic moment of
continued. Yes. So obviously my TikTok is still all Wicked, and this week there was a viral video with interviews from Out magazine.
I've seen this week people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that and feeling power in that.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it, yeah.
That's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it on a couple posts. I don't know how widespread, but I am in queer media, so that's my,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So this holding space clip became extremely viral, and part of it is that Ariana Grande just grasped onto Cynthia's finger.
Yeah, she's just like delicately holding one of her fingers with her entire hand.
Yeah. And so there's all these spoof videos. So there's a really good one by Sackett TC.
Hey, what are you listening to? I'm actually holding space for lyrics of Defying Gravity.
And then there's another spoof that Anna Gasteyer did about this press.
I don't know if you heard this, but people have been taking the lyrics of Shy and really holding space with them.
Will you pull my finger?
I guess what I'm wondering is like, and I guess this is the whole point, is what does that even mean?
Holding space?
Yeah.
I love the pull my finger and the fart. It's so good. It's because that's what I thought of too. But yeah, that's why it's viral. Like, what does it mean? I saw that people are holding space.
There's another video that it was like, at least now no one can ever use the phrase holding space and be taken seriously.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. There's a comedic video of Ariana and Cynthia on press tour. It's by Sienna Hubert Ross.
What we chose to do with the role with the roles was something that I think that should be studied.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Dayton, Ohio.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Is that, how
Did I say something wrong?
It has been an honor to stand by Cynthia during this hard time. I mean, her battling cancer. I don't know, I'm just bold. I'm sorry, I'm a little hungry. Oh, she's hungry. This is, okay. We'll come back. She knows everything. She even knows, she understands the Black experience. I don't think you understand. She's a chameleon. She's a shapeshifter. She knows more about being Black than I would say even I do. Okay. You go potty. Okay, love you. I love you. Nobody in all of my
Girl, you know I hate that.
I like this. They're climbing all over each other. I mean,
Yes.
this press tour, it feels like it's gone on for 17 years. And they're very special.
They very clearly have like talked about what their strategy is on this press tour, and it's all about creating viral moments and just acting like fully out of pocket. I mean, Ariana, she's a method actor.
Yeah.
She's just always creating a character for whatever album she's working on, and like her voice becomes that character.
Yeah, and she becomes that character.
Although, remember when Austin Butler wouldn't stop talking like Elvis?
Yeah, that scares me a little. I mean, but that's why they're good actors.
Yeah.
So Deadeye Brakeman had a really good theory about the state of musical theater now because of Wicked.
Okay, I'm ready to make a prediction about society, and it's that we are about to enter the second Glee era. It is happening. The success of Wicked is not an anomaly. It is the first step in what is to come. Flash mobs, a cappella groups, some kind of Gen Alpha BuzzFeed. It's coming. It's upon us. The pendulum of cringe is swinging back in the direction of musical theater. Those videos that people make where they sound like 80s villains and they're making fun of theater kids, that's not gonna play anymore. Because I'll tell you what, when Defying Gravity was broadcast on the big screen, when it was given Marvel level stakes, something shifted. Because now, hundreds of thousands of girls between the ages of 11 to 14, these are the crucial musical theater acquisition years, where you either get a boyfriend or you get into musical theater. Those girls are attempting that riff in the shower right now as we speak. And they can't get boyfriends because all those boys are alt-right. So where do you go? You go to Broadway. We're back. Kurt Hubble is back.
I agree with this. Like, we had our Glee era, and now musical theater is just having a surge because it's very much in the mainstream with this movie.
I'm kind of wondering why it is that Wicked is getting such a beloved reception, whereas there's been a lot more, and I think it has to do with the casting, because there's been a lot more skepticism in the past about, like, remember when they did like Rent Live and like all those live ones, or even like
Live
Little
is different. The
Mermaid.
Rent movie I thought was great.
Wicked is also about race, obviously.
But you know what didn't get a good reception was oh my god,
Dear Evan
Hansen.
I don't even know what that's
about. It was
about.
so bad because also
Ben Platt was playing a high
schooler, and also it was about nepotism because Mark Platt, his father, produced it, and Mark Platt also produced Wicked. So I think his redemption era is
If they wanted Adele Dazeem to play Ethelba in this, I would have accepted it.
She's too old.
It's fine. I would have suspended disbelief.
Yeah. But here's a spoiler. Okay, I'm giving a trigger warning. If you
Fast forward
5 seconds if you don't want to hear.
5 seconds?
Adele
Fast forward
Dazeem.
30 minutes. 30 seconds.
Adele Dazeem and Kristen Chenoweth have a cameo.
I was shook.
Me too. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but
How did you know it was going to happen?
Someone, I think, spoiled it for me.
I didn't. I went,
it is great. Okay, last about Wicked, this video by Griffix he's just studying, and it reads, NYU Culture is using the engineering school library because the Tisch students won't stop singing Wicked and Bobst.
That would have been us.
I mean, that would have been us, except I never studied in Bobst because it was always too rowdy. I needed silence.
I studied in Bobst. There was like a specific floor that all the students in Spanish and Portuguese went to. Also, I didn't actually have the urge to sing during the film.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I was mouthing along to a lot of the songs.
Some like popular a little bit, and like, but Defying Gravity, maybe this is a spoiler. Fast forward another 30 seconds. there was so much like acting throughout
exposition
that I was just like, okay, like you would like want to sing, and then they would act for another like 3 minutes. You'd be like, ugh, fine.
Okay, moving on to my For You page. This is a video that was on, I think, all of our friends' For You page because it's very much our algorithm, our demographic. It's a video by bitch_farm about Ozempic reversing beauty standards and the 17th century spice trade.
I have a theory about how the increased accessibility of Ozempic is going to lead to a complete reversal of modern beauty standards, away from thinness being prized as the ideal. And I got there from thinking about the 17th century spice trade. So there's an economic phenomenon called the snob effect, where the demand for a certain good by individuals of a higher income is inversely related to the demand by those of a lower income. It's also talked about in terms of scarcity value, or the anti-bandwagon effect. And I got here because I was just reading this book about the history of human social organization. It's really good. And there was this big section about the global spice trade. So from the 15th to the 17th centuries, European desire for spices led them to invading multiple continents, committing genocide, waging terrible bloody wars, fought over the right to control spice production and distribution. And this was all driven by the economic incentive of spices as a valuable commodity. And spices were a valuable commodity in Europe because they were rare. And since spices were rare in Europe, having well-seasoned food was a status symbol. But I'm also sure that everybody has seen memes like this. If European and specifically British history was so thoroughly shaped by their desire for spices, why is British food known for being so incredibly bland? It is in large part because of the snob effect. When Europeans did control the production and distribution of spices, the cost of spices in Europe went down exponentially, which meant that now even the working class could afford to season their food. And in consequence, using spices was no longer symbolic of being a member of the ruling class, so the rich gave it up, rather than have their culinary practices at all resemble those of the poor. And then what I think is really funny is that the rich became obsessed with getting their food as hot as possible instead. There's this section of the book that goes, to try to speed things up in getting the food from the kitchen to the dining room, Tatton Park in Cheshire, an internal railway line was laid down so that trolleys could be rushed from the kitchen to a distant dumbwaiter, there to be hastily dispatched onward. So what does this all have to do with Ozempic? It requires taking a look at the reigning societal beauty standards over time, which have varied very widely throughout recorded history. For most of human history, the beauty ideal for both men and women was the plumper the better, because it was proof that that individual had enough to eat. Beauty standards are a reflection of economic status, even in insidious ways. For example, it's the reason why we still find very long nails and high heels on women attractive, because it's proof that that individual doesn't have to do manual labor in order to survive. But around the time of the Industrial Revolution, and because of the Industrial Revolution, being thin became the women's beauty standard. And in our contemporary society, when the cheapest food is the most calorie dense, and when leisure time that you could spend exercising is in short supply if you have to work multiple jobs in order to survive, being thin and physically fit is associated with a higher tax bracket. Gym memberships, dietitians, Pilates studios, organic vegetables, unprocessed foods. These are all vastly more accessible to the ruling class. Therefore, thinness is still associated with that class. Now, Ozempic has come onto the scene. Currently, it is still very expensive, and without insurance, it is only available to those with a spare $1,000 a month, so it is still a status symbol. In the upcoming months and years, it is expected that the prices will be slashed significantly. In 2025, Medicare is going to be negotiating down the prices of 15 different drugs, and Ozempic is known to be among them. So it might take a number of years, but very soon Ozempic is going to be much more accessible to the average consumer. And so when we conceive of the snob effect, what's going to happen when the working class has access to the thin beauty standard in great numbers? For my part, I think that the beauty standard is going to change rapidly in accordance. In what direction, I don't know. But I would put money on the fact that whatever is going to be desirable in the future, it's going to be expensive to attain.
I didn't find this surprising at all, because it's when anything becomes accessible to the masses, then it is no longer a symbol of like elitism or privilege. It's the same reason why being overweight was once a sign of wealth.
Exactly. That's why I would have thrived during the Renaissance.
Oh, same. The other day I was talking to Ivan and I was like, I'm like a Rubens painting. I have a Rubenesque form. And he was like, no, you don't. And I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah. I also just love the Renaissance because I'll never forget in 5th grade, someone came in and asked a question and was like, what time period did this happen? And I was the only one who knew, and everyone was really impressed. So the Renaissance just became my thing.
Wow, the Renaissance is Dina's thing. You heard it here first.
You won't catch me at a Renaissance fair, though.
Oh, I would love to go to a Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really distracted because I'm staring at this like tchotchke that Dina has that appears to be a bus that's also a turtle.
It's Legos.
And has like a pirate ship on top of it. What is this?
It's Tortuga's Dreamcraft.
insane, truly deranged. And then on top of that is 3 plastic hands and a Holocaust book.
That's not a Holocaust book. It's just a Jewish book. Not everything Jewish is about the Holocaust.
According to you, it is.
No. Oh no, I just broke my tchotchke
Oh no,
now.
Dina broke the turtle VW bus.
I'll fix it later. Let's move on to your For You page, Catalina.
Okay, well, I got a video by Jay Geronio while we were in Curacao that is them in Culebra, which is like an island of part of Puerto Rico. And it says trying to have a serious conversation, but you're in the ocean.
And I just feel like at that point, why are you even bringing that to my attention? And like, it seriously just gets so old.
And I guess it's more of a visual video, but it was us all weekend. It was us sitting in the ocean, and like, we weren't really having serious conversations though.
Not really, but it's always funny because one person's like trying to tread water as the other person is very chatty and just like, or dunking or trying to avoid the sun and squinting.
It was quite enjoyable. One person did, trigger warning, if you don't like women's health, get a yeast infection, and knew it immediately because we were just in wet bathing suits for like 72 hours.
Should we say who it was?
It's someone who's a frequent friend of the pod.
Someone who's a friend of the pod, yeah.
She's fine now. She's on the mend.
And her doctor wrote her a note that it's ill-advised to stay hours in a wet bathing suit.
Like, yes, we
which,
know.
Like, obviously.
But the other thing is we were for hours in wetness. It wasn't just that we were in wet bathing suits. It was that we were in
bodies
the
of water.
So, like, is that going to give you a yeast infection? I don't know.
Clearly, one of us.
Guess her flora and fauna were disturbed by the waters of Curacao.
Okay, moving on to our food and drink section. This is also like a somewhat controversy section. It could be drama talk. It's Kraft mac and cheese got in some controversy. It's a video by Ace Angel.
No, Ace Engel.
Yes, I can't read. Thank you,
That's
Catalina.
fine.
Okay, listen, this message is for Kraft Mac and Cheese. Hi, I have emailed you, but the problem is not being solved. And I think there's like some miscommunication, or it's just like an automated thing, like nobody's actually reading my message. I'm gluten-free, and I have gotten now 4 boxes of gluten-free mac and cheese that do not have a sauce packet inside. All 4 boxes have been bought at separate locations, even in different cities, because I work in a different city than I live in. I have filled out the form on Kraft's website, and all that happens is with picture proof of the empty box with no sauce packet, and all that happens is they send me a letter in the mail that says, we're sorry, and a coupon for a free box of mac and cheese at my store of choice. Gluten-free. They give me the right coupon. But the thing is, then I go in and use that coupon, and I get another box of mac and cheese, and I open it up, and there's no sauce packet inside. So giving me a coupon to get another box of mac and cheese isn't solving the problem, because Kraft Mac and Cheese is not addressing the problem in their line of production.
So there are multiple parts now, but on this original video, Kraft responded and left a comment and said, no, like, our quality control is fine, and basically gaslit her into like not saying there was a problem. So this caused an uproar. Yes.
An outpouring of uproar.
Ooh, yes.
Outrage.
So everyone said this, social media person should be fired. It's not the way a brand should behave. And Stouffer stepped in and sent her free mac and cheese, gluten-free.
Oh, they're trying to they're trying to show that
yeah.
Stouffer's has mac and cheese.
And Stouffer's is trying to be a hero, which is like a good lesson in branding. But then she did speak to Larry, who worked at Kraft. And Larry was trying to make it right. So they are sending her stuff. They are looking into it. And it was just really a masterclass in bad branding, social media.
Or in quality control.
And in quality control.
Something
and listen
happened
to your customers. Yeah, she isn't lying.
Something happened with the supply chain. Get
Karen on the case.
Oh,
and then it'll be fine.
Tricked. I would say MVP of the bachelorette party was Karen.
Yeah.
Because she tricked me, and she made me think that when she was in college, she punched a girl in the face because they were competitive over their supply chain, majors. And I was like, I don't know her that well, so like it's feasible, I guess. And then I was thinking about the fact that if we got in a car accident while we were in those taxis, like a large percentage of our listenership would die.
Yeah, because our listenership was just mostly people on that bachelorette trip. That's sad. It's depressing.
We have more listeners, and we're alive.
Okay, next, this is drama talk, but also branding. There's a video by Mad_Mitch, who is a creator we love, and there was a problem with an advent calendar.
One of my coping mechanisms last week was accidentally purchasing like 47 advent calendars for everyone in my life. And I don't even know anywhere near 47 people, so don't ask. But I bought one for my dad from Harry and David. Don't tell him, by the way. And it was like cookies, crackers, like popcorn, trail mixes, chocolate covered pretzels. It comes in the mail yesterday. Perishables were in all over the box. And I'm like, interesting, because I personally would have classified trail mix as being like super perishable. So like I'm concerned, and I flip the box over and it says contains pears. And then I go to open the box, and at the top it says contents, pears from Oregon, of course, because I was wondering where in fact the pears were from. And I open it up fully prepared, get it, to see just like pears on pears on pears, which are in fact perishable. God, the jokes, they write themselves. I open it up, it is in fact the advent calendar. I think, oh fuck, that's awesome, because that means that there is a pear behind one of these 24 little doors. And that is problematic due to the fact that we are 2 weeks out from December 1, and pears, they rot. And when it comes to myself and like the smell of rotting fruit, hate it. Just like, I can't stand it. And so I get on the customer service chat with Harry and David. I say, hey, I ordered this advent calendar. I realize there's a pear in here. I don't know why you put fresh fruit in an advent calendar. But anyways, can you tell me what day has the pear so I can remove it so it doesn't rot? And they say, no, we can't tell you that. It's top secret.
So it's a long video, but basically one of the doors to the advent calendar had a pear in it, and she bought them in November, but she couldn't like start counting down.
Smelled.
So she called Larry and David. I'm thinking Larry David.
Harry and
David. And I was like, just tell me which door it is so I can take it out. And they're like, we can't. It's a secret.
That's psychotic.
And it turns out it was like in door number 1. So she took out the pear, and then Harry and David sent her a box of pears. They sent her a new advent calendar.
Why would you put a pear in? Also, you're not supposed to. Do you know how an advent calendar works?
Just because I'm Jewish, you don't think I
Okay,
know
so what day do you start?
24 or 25 days before Christmas.
Yeah, so what day is that, Dina?
Oh, December 1st. I'm so good at math.
So, like, if you bought that pear, let's say in October, then you just have a pear.
Yeah, exactly. It's
That's
gonna be
so messed up. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Someone was not thinking. That was an advent calendar designed by ChatGPT. Oh, by the way, I bought one of the things I was supposed to bring to your bachelorette trip was a bag of 50 ring pops. And when I was packing, I asked ChatGPT what I was forgetting to pack, and they did not say 50 ring pops. So I forgot that in Ohio.
But
so
someone else brought it. I think Angela brought them.
Angela didn't find them. Someone else found some.
And
you know what? I didn't see a single ring pop on that trip.
A missed opportunity. We didn't use them. How wasteful. Okay.
Well,
last but not least.
No, not last but not least. We have another update that we did not put on our doc, which is about the suitcase video.
Suitcase. Yes, that was a missed opportunity to make a video while we all had our suitcases.
However, now I received something on my algorithm, and now I'm sad. I was like, did I not like it? I can't find it, so I'm going to search for it. But it was a user who was talking about how all of these videos going around of Barron Trump in his suitcase, and I guess there's other ones of Melania, are of propaganda. It's endearing you to these people.
It is.
And it's humanizing them. It's like making them like fun caricatures. And someone in the comments was like, I thought we were all making fun of them. And honestly, me too. I was like, yeah, we're just all making fun of them. But people were commenting and being like, yeah, I noticed, like, one person was like, I started writing like, oh, Melania's not so bad, and then deleted it. It is true that media really influences your perception of individuals, and it's like making, I mean, whatever. Barron is a child.
Family.
It's making them a bit more banal. It's humanizing them. And just, I mean, they are humans, but they're not great humans.
And now Barron goes to NYU.
I know.
What if you were in a class with Barron Trump?
I would be like, I wonder what he's like. I bet he's just like Haley Joel Osment, who would just like have his little posse around him at all times.
Probably, yeah.
And not wipe down his elliptical when he was at the Palladium gym. Never forget.
I like my suitcase. I have to go to school now.
Yeah, you will have lunch and then you go to school.
Now I'm gonna go.
Yeah, first you will have lunch and then you go to school.
Oh, another thing was that for Dina's bachelorette party, we dressed as different eras of Dina.
Oh, that
as
was
a joke.
beautiful surprise.
And there were these private chefs that we had come to the house to cook the dinner, who I don't think appreciated it. But you know what? Whatever. We're funny. And I dressed as podcast Dina.
Yes, there was Fat Camp Dina. There was Marathon Dina.
Napkin
Business
Dina.
School.
Naked Neighborhood Dina.
Bungee jumping.
Club Dina.
High School Me. Dream Straight.
Dina at the beach. And this brings us to what Dina was trying to say.
Which, update on the item I bought on the TikTok shop, my mini karaoke machine, was a hit. It was great. It did its purpose. We whipped it out. We sang a lot on it, and it's very convenient.
Yeah, I would say it was as good, if not better, than the one that I have. It's just the mic. Yeah. I think all of them you can't really hear very well what's going on.
The sound quality is poor, but it's fun.
Those little mics are really fun to hold. And we were just, for my costume, I had Ashley's mini podcast mic, and we were just holding it up to people and using it to talk, and it was not connected to anything.
No, and then we just started using spoons as microphones. Anything could be a mic, really.
And we are 35 to 36 years old, and we were using spoons as microphones.
And we sang Defying Gravity in one bus ride, and the driver said she appreciated some of the voices, but others were less desirable.
She said, some of you had a good voice. Yeah, shout out to our taxi drivers for the weekend. Friendly Taxi Curacao. Very nice ladies. And I recommend if anyone goes to the Dutch Antilles, do not read the Natalie Holloway Wikipedia page until after you've left.
Yes. Well, that's not a nice note to end on.
Oh, sorry. That was really dark.
Go see Wicked. It's very good.
I will say my full disclosure review as someone who has never seen the film is I was slightly bored at some points. I wanted it to move a little bit faster. I think that if you are someone who have seen it before, you're going to love every second of it because it's going to be like everything come to life for you.
Yes.
I was, as a Wicked novice, that's the word that I'm looking for. As a Wicked novice, I definitely enjoyed it. I was not as bored as I was the time that I was doing the Peloton ride. I was, like the time I was doing the Peloton ride, just waiting for Defying Gravity the entire time. And it was amazing.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great to have you here. You'll be back in a few weeks where we can do some more live episodes and visit the Pigeon on the High Line and the slide in Teardrop Park.
Yes.
There's so much to do. Thank you for listening, and happy Thanksgiving. Whoa.
Oh, true.
It's Thanksgiving. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.